Now that our minds are being energized, we are going to start our lesson proper. Our lesson for today is curriculum-based assessment and other informal measures. What is curriculum-based measurement? So it is a repeated measures of the same academic skill level based on the end of the year goal, formative. Formative assessment is an ongoing assessment that is completed during the acquisition of the skill. So, during. Remember the word during, okay? And it is administered 1 or 2 times per week during academic period or school year. Are standardized and have adequate reliability and content validity. May be fair measure of academic progress for ethically and linguistically diverse students. So it's fair. May be administered to groups. Research supports use in early skills acquisition for elementary, middle school graders and also support use in secondary grades. It also assesses for reading fluency, spelling letter sequence, and math skills. What is curriculum-based assessment? So, curriculum-based assessment is usually given at the end of instructional period or summative. Summative assessment are assessment that is completed at the end of conclusions of an instructional period to determine the level of skill acquisition or mastery. It can be teacher-made and not standardized, may not have adequate reliability and validity, may or may not be fair for ethically and linguistically diverse students, may be administered by groups. Teacher-made instruments used for summative evaluation have not been researched. What is summative evaluation or evaluation considered as summative if it is measured taken at the end of instructional period, for example, end of chapter test or end of the year test. What is commercial academic achievement test? It is given to students to determine possible eligibility for special education support. Many instruments do not have alternate forms and cannot be repeated frequently for valid results. So it can be used only once and it is good enough already. Have adequate reliability and construct validity, but the contents may not be relevant for specific students. So what is applicable to this student may not be applicable to another student. Are summative measures. So it is done after the skill is being acquired already. And may be prone to biases. Individual administration for purpose for determining eligibility. Next is instruments designed to assess all grade levels from pre-academic through adult, from preschools to adulthood. Assesses broad domains of academic skills and achievement. It means that there is a wide scope of how they are going to assess an individual. How to construct and administer curriculum-based measurements. In 1970, research efforts by University of Minnesota resulted in the initial development of the curriculum-based measures. Through continuing their work, the field of curriculum-based measurement was identification of measures that have consistently found to have reliability and validity for the measurement of progress in reading, spelling, writing, and mathematics. Dino 1985. Dino here is one of the researchers that pinpoint specific design criteria inherent in an effective CBM. First one is the measures have sufficient reliability and validity. Second one, the measure should be easy to understand and use. So easy to be understood by both the teacher and the student and easy to use by the teachers. Third one, the results yielded by the measures are easy to explain to others such as parents and other school personnel. So the result of the assessment or the measure should be easy to explain to the parents. Fourth one is because the measure is used frequently, so it should not be expensive. So as said a while ago, CBM is administered 1 or 2 times a week in an academic year. So it should not be too expensive. Constructing CBMs for reading. In order to assess reading for a specific grade level, the teacher will need to have sufficient number of passages to use for 2 types of activities, at least 2 times per week, in addition to having a student read orally so that the words the student calls correctly can be counted for oral fluency. The teacher can also use May's method that we'll explain later, which have been found to provide valid assessment results in the area of reading comprehension. Oral reading fluency measure. For these measures, select 3 grade level passages from BSL, curricular materials, or other texts of the same readability level. If you are not certain of the readability level, you can use Microsoft Word, which contain a readability calculator. This is the example of teacher passage for CBM for oral reading fluency. There's number of attempts, number of errors, number of read correctly. Baseline score. To determine the student's baseline score, have him or her read 3 passages orally. Take down the errors and total the number of words correctly. Average the scores for the 3 passages for baseline score. Alternative for finding the baseline score is finding the median. So, here's an example. The given is 25, 55, 85. When you arrange this in order, 25, 55, 85, the median is 55. Or, you can add 25, 55, 85 and divide it by 3, and the answer is 55. So 55 here is the baseline score. Here is the oral reading errors for CBM. The type of error. First one is teacher supplies the word. The example of passage text is the girl swam in the race. The actual student's response was the girl. Then the teacher supplies swam. Then the student replied again in the race. The second type of error is the student passes on word. Same passage, the girl swam in the race. Then the actual response of the student was the girl in the race. So, it passed. Then, the third type of error is the student mispronounces the word. Like the girl, same passage again, the girl swam in the race. Then the actual response of the student was the girl swarm in the race. So swam and swarm mispronounced. Then the fourth type of error is student omits word. Same passage again, the girl swam in the race. Then the actual response of the student was the swam in the race. So the girl is missing in the student response. Fifth type of error is the student reads words out of order, like same passage. The girl swam in the race, but the actual response of the student was the girl swam the in race. So the and in are interchanged. The last type of error is the student substituted the word. So same again, the passage was the girl swam in the race, but the actual student response was the girl swam in the pool. So the pool there substituted the word race. Weekly growth rates for reading. That is important for finding the aim line. Aim line. Once you have determined the student's baseline in oral reading, you can establish a goal. Example of a goal is a number of words expected to be read by the students in the end of the year. Then plot an aim line to monitor the student's progress in working towards that goal. Example, you are given with the baseline of 55, same again. Then weekly increase in number of words expected for second grade is 1.5 per week. And this was based on the weekly growth rates for reading, and the realistic growth rate for the grade 2. The next is the number of weeks of instruction following baseline period is 25. 25 there is given already. Then 1.5 times 25 is equals to 38 plus 55 the baseline, and we have it 93. So to plot the aim line, which is can be seen in the figure 6.2 or the oral reading fluency goal, first you need to start with the baseline. Then after, plot the goal and attach a line from the baseline to the goal. But remember, when the student falls below the aim line on the 3 to 4 consecutive measures or data points, adjust your instructions. When the student achieves higher than the aim line on the 3 to 4 consecutive measures, provide more challenging reading tasks. Trend line. Another way to use data points is to construct a trend line. It provides quick view of how close students' performance is to the aim line. If trend line seems not near the aim line, it can be flat or above the aim line. This signifies to adjust your instructional interventions and delivery methods. You can use Turkey method in finding the trend line. First, divide the data points into thirds. It means that you need to divide it into 3 equal parts. In other words, if there are 9 data points, each section would include 3 data points. Find the median point for the first and the third sections. Label it with X. Then, the median week of the instruction. As shown in the figure 6.3, draw lines between the two X used to note the median data points. The next figure is about curriculum-based measurement data using 2 interventions with 1 students. This presents an example of how curriculum-based measurement is used to determine when an extractional change is called for. The student in this figure failed to make the projected progress. As you can see, the baseline starts with, I guess, 48 or 49. Then, in the intervention A, the expected rate of progress is too high than the actual rate progress. Then, in the intervention B, the expected rate of progress has high expectation than the actual rate of progress. Maze reading method. To construct CBMs to assess this aspect of reading ability, select passages the same way you select passages for oral reading. These passages should be new to the student. It should be the same level of the student, and you retain the first sentence of the passage. Delete the 9th word of the passage, for example, the 6th word, and insert blank on its place. Supply the students with 3 word choices for each blank. Only one of these should be the correct answer. However, there are criteria for distractors for the choices. First one, they should not make contextual sense. Second, they should not rhyme with the correct choice. Third, they should not sound or look like the correct answer. Fourth, they should not be nonsense words or not related. Fifth, they should not require the students to read ahead to eliminate the choices. So advanced reading is a no-no. 6 would be they should not be challenging terms of meaning. The terminologies that should be used should be same level as the reader or the student. At the right side of the screen, you can see example of maze reading method. Caution about using expected growth rates in reading. In the study of more than 6,000 students, they found out that not all student performance was consistent with the expected growth rate when using average of the aggregated data. The results suggest that the teacher used other methods of establishing goals. For example, The goals can be set using expected growth rates for students decile group, or students with the lowest decile group can be compared with the expected growth rate of that decile group. Another suggestion was use criterion reference goal rather than comparing students to the average of the aggregated data. It may offer a method of monitoring progress effectively without the need for intervention provided through special education services. This method appears to be more fair way to measure progress following intervention in reading the students in lower achieving group. Constructing CBMs for spelling. To assess spelling ability, plot both the numbers of the correct letter sequence and the number of correct spelled words. Construct measures from grade level spelling words include approximately 12 words, grade 1 to 3, and 18 words for grade 4 to 8. In scoring correct letter sequence, give 1 point for each two letters that are in correct sequence. So give 1 point for the correct beginning and ending letter. For example, the word time. Give 1 point for letter T, give 1 point for letter TI, give 1 point for IM, give 1 point for ME, and give 1 point for letter E. So the total points for the word time is 5 points. This is the weekly expected growth rates for spelling. Next, in the figure 6.5, we have the sample spelling test of the words. Number 1, gate. 2 is Kate. 3 is great. 4 is child. 5 is look. 6 is took. 7 is click. 8 is lock. 9 is take. 10 is shake. A total of 55, wherein the student here got 49 only. So 49 over 55, which is 89%. Constructing CBMs for mathematics. For mathematics CBM, the problem should be operation addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Within 2 minutes, the students will be given a sheet of questions of math, 25 math problems, or 25 grade level computational problems. Then the students should answer it as many as they can within that specific time, which is 2 minutes. Then we need to construct 3 math sheet or probe for baseline scores and 2 probes for each week during the academic period. The expected growth rate for math is presented on table 6.5 on the next slide. So table 6.5 is the expected weekly growth rate for math, number of correct digits. Then here is the sample of CBM Pro computation. Computer constructed CBM charts are available in Microsoft Word. Computer generated charts are also available in the internet, such as the Curriculum Based Measurement Warehouse or CBM Chart Dog. These online tools make it easy for classroom teachers to quickly enter curriculum-based assessment data each day to monitor students' progress. We have here an example of these charts. First, in the upper left corner, we have the trend line using ChartDoc. On the upper right corner, we have the aim line using Curriculum-Based Measurement Warehouse. On the lower one is the aim line using Microsoft Word. Review of research on curriculum-based measurement or CBM. Effective teachers were sensitive to the result of the assessment data and used those data to adapt and modify their instructions. Students receive more feedback from their teachers about their progress than the students not participating in the curriculum-based measurement. In this study, the use of curriculum-based measurements to determine appropriate instructional levels resulted in the decrease of off-task behaviors. Curriculum-based measurement has been found effective for use in the universal screening of students for early reading acquisition skills. One reading probe can be sufficient for predicting the overall reading achievement. They find CBM mathematics effective for grade 1 pupils. So CBM is concluded as very useful for elementary pupils. Curriculum-based measurement is one of the methods for screening for special education eligibility. CBM is accurate and less biased. Curriculum-based measurement has been studied as possible method of identifying students in special education placement who are ready to move back into the general education setting. Now I'm done presenting. I'm going to give the floor to the next reporter, Rain.